Hi everyone, I'm Hung, and this is my wife, Titi. We live on the outskirts of Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Today is our day off, so I brought my wife to visit her grandmother. This is the house where she was born and raised. This tiny house has been home to 3 generations of the family, including my wife. In this video, I'd like to share my wife's family life with you, show you their tiny home, and explain why this little place will always have a special place in our hearts. This is the front of the house. Compared to the houses around it, this place looks quite old and worn out. In front of the house, there are 2 large cabinets where the family stores their everyday belongings. The house is only about 10 square meters, around 2 meters wide and 5 meters long. Because there is so little space, almost everything is arranged in this main living area. The TV, refrigerator, bed, wardrobe, and even the kitchen and bathroom are all placed in the same small space. At night, after everyone parks their motorbikes inside the house, there is almost no empty space left. Right next to the entrance are several old plastic boxes. They are used to store supplies for the small drink cart that the family sells in front of the house. This plastic cabinet is used to store clothes and small household items. When a house has very limited space, using simple storage solutions like this is one of the most practical and affordable ways. Almost every corner of the house is used to store something. This is probably the newest item in my wife's grandmother's house. Although it is just an old refrigerator, it was actually given to her by someone who bought a new one. In this small house, every corner has to be used wisely. This old metal bed is probably the most important piece of furniture in the house. It is not only a place to sleep, but also a chair to sit and watch TV, a dining table, and even a place to welcome guests whenever someone visits. One of my wife's grandmother's neighbors came over to visit. The 2 elderly women sat together on the bed, while my wife sat on the floor, chatting with them. A small bathroom is placed right next to the bed. Inside, everything is designed as simply and compactly as possible to save space. And this is the kitchen where the whole family cooks every day. It is located right next to the bathroom, which is obviously not very convenient. But, with the current situation, the family has no other choice. They have to accept it because there is simply no more space available. This kitchen was designed in the simplest way possible. The width of this kitchen is only about the length of my 2 hands, around 40 centimeters. There is a metal frame underneath as the base, and 2 ceramic tiles on top are used as the cooking surface. Almost everything here is old, and has been used for many years. Take a look at this cutting board. Can you guess how old it is? These pans are the same. After many years of use, the stains and marks on the surface can no longer be completely cleaned. Everything looks old and worn out. Do you know what this is? It probably looks a little strange, right? Actually, this is just a piece of old sackcloth. The family tied it here temporarily to reduce cooking smells and prevent oil from splashing toward the front area. You cannot stand straight in this area because it is too narrow. The only way to cook here is to stand facing along the length of the kitchen. Behind the house is an extremely narrow space. Since this is the only place where sunlight can reach, my wife's family uses this tiny corner to wash dishes, do the laundry, and dry everything from clothes to kitchen utensils. You can use my body to imagine how small this space is. I am quite small, only about 1.6 meters tall, but even I still feel very cramped when standing here. If someone has a larger body shape, it would be almost impossible to move around comfortably in this space. This bamboo pole is tied up here to hang clothes. As you can see, the walkway behind the house is only about 40 centimeters wide. I have to turn my body sideways just to get through. My wife is sitting here, washing a small floor mat for her grandmother. As you can see, she is squeezed between two walls and cannot move comfortably. But this is the daily living space of a family of 6 people. It includes my wife's grandparents and the family of their youngest son, with 4 members. Above this house, there is a small loft. A simple metal ladder is used to climb up there. This is the sleeping area for my wife's uncle's family. There are 4 people living here, a husband, a wife, and their 2 children. They do not really have a private space of their own. It is quite inconvenient, but everyone has learned to accept this way of living. Because there is not enough space downstairs, the washing machine is also placed here, right next to where the family sleeps. I know this house may look old, crowded, and uncomfortable, but this is the real home where my wife's family has lived for many years. Many parts of this house were built about 32 years ago, and now they have seriously deteriorated. It is only enough to provide the most basic living conditions for the family. The house may look like a small slum, but the reason they have not been able to repair or rebuild it is simply because they cannot afford it. My wife's grandparents had 4 children. Because this house was too small, after their children got married, most of them moved out to start their own families. As the oldest child, my wife's parents continued living here with her grandparents. Unfortunately, when my wife was only 5 years old, her parents divorced. Her father started a new family, while her mother had to work hard and move out to make a living. At that time, my wife was raised by her grandparents. Even though the family was very poor, her grandparents never let my wife feel that she was missing anything. They always tried their best to take care of her and give her a loving childhood. When my wife's mother became more stable with her work, she brought my wife back to live with her, hoping to reduce the burden on her grandparents. But, unfortunately, later, my wife's grandmother suffered a stroke. The consequences were quite serious. She can now only walk a few steps, and one of her arms is completely paralyzed. After that, my wife's uncle's family moved back here to live with her grandparents and take care of them more easily.
Này nó không cử động được. Đây mày hỏi Ti coi. Hai bà cháu tiền một gói mì gói mà chia làm 2 nha, nó nửa tao nữa. Nhưng mà có tiền rồi, mua đi tốn bò 100.000.
My wife's grandparents do not have a regular income or a pension. Their main support comes from a small government allowance and help from their children and grandchildren. Because of that, even though we still have many financial difficulties, my wife and I always try to save a small amount of money every month to give to them. Today is my day off, and everyone in the family has their own plans. Her grandfather went out to visit an old friend, so my wife and I bought some food that her grandmother likes and brought it over for her. Life has never been easy for my wife's grandparents, but despite all the difficulties, they always tried their best to take care of their children and grandchildren. That is why my wife and I are always grateful for them. To us, they are not only family members, but also an example of kindness, strength, and sacrifice. My wife and I have talked about this many times. After we finish paying off the loan for our own house, we hope to save enough money to repair this house for her grandparents. I know that day may still be far away, but this dream is also a motivation for us to keep working harder every day.
Sáng ngày hôm tha 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 đi là mày xuống bước liền xuống lòng bị sụm à. Già mà cương yếu.
Nhiều khi mình ngủ cả đêm cái cơ mình nó đang nghỉ ngơi, sáng mình xuống liền con còn bị nữa mà.
Finally, I want to sincerely thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel, watched my videos, left kind comments, or supported me in any way. Your kindness means much more to me than you can imagine. Every subscription, every encouraging message, and every small support gives me more hope and motivation to continue making videos and sharing my real life in Vietnam. Even the smallest support can make a big difference. It reminds me that there are still many kind people around the world who care about and believe in me. I will continue trying my best to create better videos and share my life in Vietnam as honestly as possible. Your support is the strength that helps me keep moving forward.
Hi, see you again.
Dạ.